for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company, TDC for service, TDC for quality.
TDC your company.
Together we succeed, building a strong community, pressing onward to our destiny. One love, one family. Together we succeed. Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and thank you so much for tuning in to WINNFM 98.9 for Saturday, April 29, 2023. This is Inside the News, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the discussion for today. All right, good morning again, and welcome to Inside News right here on WinFM 98.9. Thank you so much for joining the conversation for today. We are also live on our social media platforms. You can check us out on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And you can also listen to this program via our website at www.winmediaskn.com. That's www.winmediaskn.com. The phone lines will be open later on in the program. You can call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. If you are in USA or Canada, you can call us at 718-285-6984 or at 305-921-4619. If you are in the UK, you can call us at 033-344-0065. Those are the numbers to call to be a part of today's conversation. This is Inside the News on WinFM 98.9. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. So much has taken place in the past week here in St. Kitts and Nevis and across the Caribbean region in a number of areas. And today we want to entertain a topic. On what has transpired in the British Virgin Islands. I think you guys have been if you were following the elections that were held there recently, a few days ago, a new government has been formed, and Lorna G. Smith is now in. Well, this is the headline: New Virgin Islands government forms. Lorna G. Smith now in VIP's corner, remains an NDP member but joins VIP majority to form new government. And there has been a lot of different views and opinions on this move by Lorna Smith. People have questioned, well, how can you remain a member of the NDP but still a part of the VIP, the Virgin Islands Party, the VIP government? According to this article here, senior sources within the Virgin Islands Party have told News Online, Virgin Islands News Online, that a deal has been struck for the formation of the new government of the Virgin Islands. Sources told the news center that Lorna G. Smith has agreed to join the Virgin Islands Party to give it a 7-seat majority to form a new government. Issues of portfolios are still being worked out, but Natalia Whitley is expected to be the premier and Mrs. Smith the deputy premier. And they, according to this article here, they will be providing more details as it becomes available. Now, Smith, the wife of former premier Dr. Orlando Smith, has announced her candidacy. She announced her candidacy for the 2023 general elections as an independent, but later joined the NDP, saying she needed a team. The NDP ended with 3 seats, and the progressive Virgin Islands movement had a similar amount following general elections on Monday, April 24, 2023. Progressives United, Julian Fraser retained his 3rd district seat, but Progressive United, Julian Fraser retained his 3rd district seat, but it seems efforts to get him as the tiebreaker by the progressive Virgin Islands movement and the NDP have failed. Fraser endorsed PVIM, that is the Progressive Virgin Islands movement, during the campaign trail. And the Virgin Islands Party will now take the government with Lorna in its corner as deputy premier. I've been following the comments via social media, particularly from people who reside in the British Virgin Islands, and the comments are interesting. One says, a slap in the face, or in the voters' face. Another comment says, and this looks good. Another person commented, thank you, I ain't vote for another. And oh boy, okay, yeah, some of these comments I won't be able to repeat, but different views and opinions, and people are some are for, some are against, as expected. One comment says, with just one election, this woman has surprised her voters, Walwyn and all the others who tried for years to get into that position in government. Enjoy your time when you care about others more than your own people. This is your faith. Oh wow, okay. So the comments are, some of the comments are not so favorable, and I won't be able to read them on the airwaves. But as I've said, some are for and some are against. Interesting times in let me say Caribbean politics and politics across the region. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis and other Caribbean islands, we've seen similar situations like these where people cross floor, or there is some internal back and forth in political parties, and it is always hard for the supporters of said party to accept or to entertain the conversation whether or not there is any infighting or any turbulence within their organization. I'm not suggesting that there is any turbulence within the NDP. I think what Miss Smith or Mrs. Smith did here was, hey, there has to be a government, and she saw the opportunity, and she took advantage of it. The VIP, after the elections, had 6 seats, and she had her 1 seat, and so she decided to join them to form the government. I can assume that there were a number of negotiations that have had to take place, and perhaps one of those negotiations could be the fact that she will now serve as the deputy premier. Hey, I will only join the government if I get to get the position of deputy premier. Now, some of the supporters of the NDP are not in agreement with this. They believe that Mrs. Smith should have remained as or should not have given the VIP the majority to form the government. However, if that had not taken place, I think there was also some other discussion about some other parties coming together. So you would have seen something like a team unity, like what we had here in St. Kitts and Nevis, where you come with your 2, you come with your 2, you come with your 2, and we form the government. But in the BVI, we see the VIP, the Virgin Islands Party, with 6, and joining with Lorna Smith of the NDP to form the government there. What are your thoughts? What are your views on this? We're going to open the phone lines, and we'll take some calls at 466-0989 or at 762-0989. Let's head to the phone lines, and we'll take our first call for this morning. Hello, caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes. Good morning, Devon.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Happy to be alive.
Oh, I'm glad that you're great. Let me just divert a little bit from the politics in British Virgin Islands. Now, it's more than a month now since some Africans, I think they're from Cameroon. They were picked up at sea after the boat capsized, and some drowned and some were alive. And those who are alive, they're right here in St. Kitts, over a month. And according to the news, they are staying in a community center. And the latest news, that some of them, they use the word escape. And they were able to capture some, and some are still at large. Now, my question is this. Who are feeding them? Is it taxpayers' money? Or some personal lawyer or somebody else are feeding them? And if they are in that, what you call it, the community center, should they be in there by themselves without somebody looking over them to see that everything is okay? They should also have a guard, they're guarding them to make sure everything stays according to justice and the law. Well, how those people escape from India? How is it? Were not a guard there? If a guard was there, how they get the chance? Was the guard drunk and sleeping? Or something passed underneath a 4-foot table for them to escape? Because that is strange. So many of them they're in a community center. They're not supposed to be there on their own like that. They don't have no legal landing documents because of what happened out to sea. Are the documents and so wash up in the water? Nobody's swim ashore with a passport in the mouth. So therefore anything can happen. Something went wrong up there where those people escape. And you see, why should they want to escape? Here is the place, the country that rescue them. Why don't they sit down and behave themselves? Why they want to run away? To go where? That now, for the police them to go find them, that is what you call extra money on the government. And to keep them here already, to feed them and house them, it costs in taxpayers' money. This thing don't look good. It doesn't look good. Something went wrong. And only who involved in the wrongness know what happened. And I want to know, when the time comes for them to be repatriated, where they're going to send them. Because it is said that where they leave Africa to go, they don't want them there no more. And that's the reason why they leave here, and they were going where they were going, and the boat capsized over the sea. I don't know. It is alleged that they don't want them no more. Let me use alleged. So when they leave here now, when it's time for them to repatriate from where they were, where are we going to send them? Africa? Or where they leave Africa and they come down to stay? Anyway, thank you, Devon. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you, caller, so much for your contribution to the discussion for today. And thank you for raising that. There has been a lot of discussion surrounding that, about the escaped detainees, how they were able to escape. The officers or security guards that were there, that were supposed to be doing their job, ensuring that these detainees remain at the detention center. And so what I've seen on social media is that while we understand the efforts are being made to apprehend the detainees and find those who have escaped, there are comments on social media suggesting that there should be some inquiry into how, let's just say that's taking place, but there are comments suggesting that there should be some inquiry into how they escaped. How did, I think 9, according to the statement from the police, how did 9 of these detainees escape from that facility? There is also part of the conversation, the whether we're going to send them back, according to a statement from the police, Antigua literally has changed their minds. They no longer want to take responsibility of the Cameroonians and the migrants and the illegal immigrants that have come here, according to a statement from the police. So those are some of the things that are part of the conversation. Are we going to send them back to Antigua and Barbuda, repatriate, or will there be an inquiry into how they were released? Because it begs the question: if these people are in a detention center or whatever center they've described it as, how did they get out? Is it a case that they ain't had enough manpower at the facility to ensure that all of the exits or possible exits are properly guarded or watched? Those are the questions I think must be asked. But I think it's interesting that Antigua has changed their minds. They no longer want to be a part of the repatriation of the Cameroonians. That is rather interesting. Let's get back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Caller, you can call us back at 466-0989 or 762-0989. USA and Canada, that's 718-285-6984 or 305-921-4619. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Hello, caller. You are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Devon.
Hey, mommy.
Yeah, my son, that was my son.
All right.
My loving son come to help me. God bless him. His name Anthony Henry. Since he talking loud enough for you to hear? I want everybody to have a good son. One son. And two daughters. Anyway, last night I was listening to... Last night? The station in Nevis, 2020 Vision. And there was a panelist of NRP stalwarts. And they were discussing the same issue with the lady and comparing it to Cleon. Now, Devon, you have been around this politics long enough to know. A lot of horse trading, you know, remember horse trading? Go on before the election and after the election. Mm-hmm. People walk from all kind of side. It's nothing new. I mean, don't even talk about St. Kitts. The gentleman who was complaining, he refused to be part of a coalition unless he was made the premier. You ever hear the was? Mm-hmm. Nobody chose him like when you had unity. They agreed before they went in, you know. The gentleman said, no, if he is to join with anybody, he has to be the premier. And then the lady, of course, everybody looking up for themselves, eh? Whether she should be expelled from the party or not was being discussed. But remember again what she said. She wanted to have enough so that she can also become the premier. And then sometimes you wonder why does not the Labour Party have a coalition? Because we are accustomed to it. Election, and if they do have it, they take anybody from anywhere. You know what would be interesting? When I see people who are strong on one side, strong on Labour, strong on unity, back to Labour, then back to nobody. It doesn't give you confidence in any of the representatives, you know. You're not too sure when they're going to change. You're not too sure at all. And then we get all work up over people. We put our life on the line for this party, that candidate. And to your horror, they still seek out their own self-serving things. So what do we do? Do you blame her? Because she is no worse than the man who said he has to be the leader. And of course, she wanted to be in power. She make it clear. I want to be the leader. I want to have enough support. And the others who are desperate enough, they were minority, well, they want to, and anybody will do. And she took the opportunity. So that is a warning to a lot of us who just kill up, make enemies out of people, for politicians who you don't know, because you don't know their intent. You never know their intent.
Boy.
No matter what good they say. When you hear them change side and they talk, you want to know, really? You know what I mean, right?
Right.
Really, they make them one follow to Miss Henry.
So
good division people. Good.
Yeah, but not to cut you off, caller. So what we see happening in the Caribbean is people they commit themselves to a political party and then
they ain't commit to a party. It is called opportunistic. If you commit, you walk away. When St. Lucia, even before you think that they'll cross the floor straight in St. Lucia, you don't fight up for them. Use your neighbor and your mother and your auntie and your uncle. And then they just cross the floor. So at least she crossed before they reach in the house. So all who talking and Clean is not in the same position. Clean could easily cross the floor, because she had nothing to lose. You aware of that?
I'm following you. Go ahead and make a comment.
She has not crossed the floor. She could, since NRP don't want her, or she don't want NRP, she's an independent, she is free to go whichever way she wants. So to be comparing Cleon to the woman, I think is unfair. They're not similar. All right, then. I'm going to talk to my son.
All right, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution to this program. This is Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. The point I was trying to make was that there are people in the, when it comes to politics, there are people, supporters who, they do a lot and they commit a lot to political parties. And the caller made a very interesting point that sometimes you don't even know the politicians. They come and they tell you, they're committed and they're ready to work for you, ready to listen and all of that. And as soon as they're elected, they kind of put you by the wayside and forget about you. And so you have what's happening here in the Caribbean is ordinary citizens are committing themselves or showing a great level of allegiance and support to various political parties. And then you have individuals, or let me say the politicians themselves, who jeopardize all of that for self-gain. And at the end of the day, it's all about self. I don't see it as a consideration for the support and the work that were put in by the supporters of the party, the hundreds or thousands of supporters of the party. And so when I see people get emotional over things like these, there is a level of understanding, because you're probably there sitting and saying to yourselves, boy, I put in a lot, I work hard, and here is one individual decide to come and change the whole thing. And so people are going to have their views on that situation there in the BVI, and the situation in Nevis and other political parties across the region, where people cross floor or people change allegiance or people decide not to support, as their right, the decision of any political party. But the conversation has always been interesting when it comes around to politics and politicians and them being members of parties and taking advantage of the opportunity that is in front of them. And it's a very interesting conversation. There are people who they're for, they're against. And yeah, I will continue to follow the situation there in the BVI and see what unfolds. The party there, the NDP, has moved, I would say, rather swiftly to cut ties with Mrs. Smith. They have not wasted any time whatsoever. They have said basically, well, you have now joined the Virgin Islands Party government, and you are no longer a member of our party, and so now we have decided to cut ties with you. But that is politics in a nutshell. That's politics in a nutshell. You join a party because of the momentum or because of the base that party has. And I've seen that across the region. The base that the party has, you win, and then, you look out for yourself instead of looking out for the people that are responsible for putting you there. Very interesting. It's 11:34 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. We will take a break to acknowledge our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation for today. This is Inside the News on WINNFM 98.9. So let's take this break, and we'll be right back.
We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
People make the world go round.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go round.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. It's April 29, 2023. Let's head back to the phone lines and we will take some more calls. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good day, Devon. Good day. Greetings once more in Jesus' name. He who is the only Savior of his elect sinners from their sins and from hell, and he who is the second person of the eternal Trinity, Jesus Christ, that is. Now, Devon, I would like to speak on the Cameroonians issue, the Africans issue. Now, first of all, the only answers are in the Bible. And when it comes to immigration,
the Bible instructs us to have open immigrations. It indirectly instructs us to have open immigration. That is, people should be allowed to go wherever they want to, whenever they want to, and stay as they choose. God, the Bible said, do not oppress the foreigner or stranger. And you used to have one law for both foreigners and strangers, as you have with your residents or citizens. That's all in the Bible. And God let us know that if we oppress, that is put any hindrance before the foreigners or strangers, He will punish us. He will bring us to ruin and destruction. So open immigration is the biblical way to go. You find, for example, in Romans 13, he laid out the
You said sorry, not to cut you off, caller. You said open immigration. Could you go into detail some more about that?
Yeah, well, like I said, it is the biblical way as instructed by God.
Yes, I understand that. But when you say open immigration, you mean people just travel freely?
Right. That is what I said.
That's nonsense.
Right.
That's absolute rubbish.
Well, it is biblical.
That's rubbish.
It is biblical. And not only that, this thing with passport. You see, the reason why we're going to see these things as nonsense is because.
But Carla, and I'm challenging you on that point. You're saying, right? You're saying that there should be open immigration, which therefore means, right? I'm not even talking about whether it is biblical or not, right? Which therefore means that people could go and come as they like.
Right.
That is that. How can that make any sense?
By
knowing the kind of world that we live in, and the laws that we have in place, why would you want to have open immigration where people can just travel as they like and go to any country as they like? A small country like St. Kitts and Nevis, a small island developing state like St. Kitts and Nevis, we're not as big as the other countries.
Right.
We don't have the many resources like the other countries, and you're here advocating for open immigration?
Which is biblical. Because God promised us in His word, in Deuteronomy chapter 28, for example, He promised us in His word that once we obey the laws of God and once we do things biblically, He will bless us. He will be, and the reason why we are in so much problems today, confusion today, peril and destruction is because we are not doing things the biblical way. Doesn't matter how big or small you are. And the thing is, in the Bible, God tells us we are to replenish the earth. Fill the earth, replenish the earth. So if your system, which is all unbiblical system, anti-biblical system, if your system is not conducive to poor people coming into your country so that they can make a betterment for their lives, which would be in accordance with filling the earth, replenishing the earth.
Carla, let's just say we are to have open immigration, right? Specifically for St. Kitts and Nevis. And let's say 10,000 people decide to flock St. Kitts and Nevis. Do you think that we could appropriately cater and look after the needs of 10,000 people? An additional 10,000 people in the country? Do you really? Okay, let's put aside for just a second that, biblical or non-biblical. Do you really believe? Hold on. Do you really believe that? Let's just say, if 10,000 people are to come to St. Kitts and Nevis right now because of our open immigration policy, what do you think would happen to St. Kitts and Nevis?
Once we are doing things according to the Bible, God said He will bless us. So that means things will go better for us, good for us, because the economic system that God instructs us to have in the Bible, the more people come into your country, the better. Why? Because with the economic model of the Bible, as we are instructed to have, it is the private sector that would be providing for the people, because government would have very, very low taxes. The duties of government would be biblically bounded to punishing evil those and approving those who do good. And with such, you would have a thriving private sector. So And therefore, the more people come into your country, is the bigger the markets would get for all your businesses, which would only serve to increase businesses more in your country. Not only that, the more stuff, because you have big and growing markets, businesses will now be able to order more bigger stuff, bulkier stuff, which in you will get even those stuff cheaper per unit, which will only feed on the blessings of God that He's showing on you. So yes, so therefore, and what I'm describing is biblical free market capitalism, which is the only system that works. And the more poor people come into your country, including rich as well, but the more poor people come into your country, is the better that will be, because you would have growing markets for businesses, and that will be better for businesses. Now, the other systems, because they're unbiblical, and therefore government are providing for the people, which is unbiblical, the more and more, especially the more and more poor people you have coming in those countries, the more and more strain it would be on the government. Because things are not, because that's not the biblical way to do things. So therefore, what you are criticizing is the unbiblical way of doing things, which will make things to be more and more strained on the people. But when it is done the other way, when it is the private sector, and you have a strong, vigorous, growing private sector providing for the people instead of the government, the more and more people, including the more and more poor people, come into your country, it is the better, because you create more opportunities as you create as your markets are growing more and more.
And how do you say it? And how would the private sector grow specifically in St. Kitts and Nevis, you say?
Because the more and more people coming into your country, the more and more markets you'll be having into your country, which is growing and growing. Therefore, people will be doing.
What about if the people who are coming into the country are not skilled in any area whatsoever, and they would have to depend on welfare programs? So let's give a number. 500 people come to the country. Let's say 5,000, because now we have an open immigration policy. 5,000 people come to the country, and none of them have any skills, any expertise that could meaningfully add to the development of the country, and there's nothing that they can bring. These people would now have to depend on welfare programs and would have to depend on the government to provide for them in terms of food, shelter, education for the children. How does that help the private sector or the economy at large? How?
Okay, right. No, when things are done biblically, there's no such thing as government welfare. There's no such thing as government welfare. That's number one. Number two, because you have minimal taxation, and really and truly the biblical way is for taxation to really be voluntary. That's really the biblical way to go. And because of that, people will be having far more money in the pocket.
You said this is the biblical way. Point me to where in the Bible I can find this. Give me the scriptures, and I'm taking notes. I'm going to take notes now as to where I can go to find where you're getting this from in terms of us having an open. So I'm waiting for you. You can give it now, or you can call back later. But tell me the scriptures or wherever in the Bible I can find what you're saying here. No.
Yes. Let me give you now. For example, in Romans chapter 13, it tells you the duties and obligations and limits of government, which is to, in verses 1 to 7 of Romans 13, it tells you, first of all, government is to approve of those who do good, and that is as in accordance as the Bible tells us what is good and how to praise them. Secondly, that same passage tells us that the government are to punish evildoers, and you're supposed to use the Bible as to find out what it means by evildoers and which evils are to be punished and how they are to be punished. The Bible is a standard always. And thirdly, it gives the government the privilege to collect the taxes to do those functions only. Therefore there's nowhere you could fit immigration policies of restrictions and that sort of stuff in those duties those God-given duties of that passage. Not only that, the Bible also tells us government, like anything else, are supposed to do everything to the glory of God, which include winning people for the kingdom of God and preaching and instructing people in His word.
Well, Carter, thank you so much for your comment. We do want to take some more calls, all right? So we're going to have to end this call with you. Thank you so much for your contribution. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. Call us at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. The phone lines are open and we want to hear from you. Let's take this call. Hello, caller. You are on the air. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brother Greg. I asked him what God tell them. He said, leave them alone. He said, them people over there, don't mix with them. Don't marry to them. Don't eat what they eat. It's in there, in the Old Testament. He knows all about that. What's going on right now in Israel? They are the Bible people, eh? And there is no word like capitalism in the Bible. My good friend Greg, he chooses scripture to back up his belief system. He's a libertarian. So as far as he concerned, the body must have no rule. But the Bible says, when every man do what is right in their own eye, you got chaos. And I suppose he loves poverty, He loves poverty, because the kind of capitalism that he speak about, the poor get poorer, no charity, no nothing. So Jesus was wrong. What he was walking on for the people for? He shouldn't tell them go look work. He fed them, and he encouraged others to feed. Even Paul. So he come with the one scripture and twisting it. I know you're going to unsave me today. You can't say who the Lord saved. The Lord said, no man take them out of the hand. And his thing about this, the selected sinners. In the Old Testament, when they were going to have the lamb for the thing, they put their hand on the head of the animal and they let it go. It was no some for you. But how does he know he's a selected sinner? So when Jesus died, he marked, well, I'm going to die for Sylvine, I'm going to die for Devon, I'm going to die for Greg, and all who Greg like. You are discouraging people. How can you know? And he said, you know them by the works. You know them by the works. So when you think that you better take heed lest you fall. Let him who think it is standard take it lest you fall. He is promoting the exploitation of the poor. The Bible never condone that. Never. You read the Old Testament. So you want to read the Roman too. The whole Bible is there to back it up. God did not say let all of these things come in. He never said that. He never ever said that. And it don't even make any sense. Sorry to say it like that. I don't want me to be offensive. When you have a small country, it's still happening in Africa. There are all these things in Sudan. You think everybody's saying, come over here, come over here? They got Bible like you. The Arabs got the Quran like you. I mean, he got to learn to be more logical. Get the economics right. The Bible never promoted the exploitation of the poor. And that is what this capitalism does. It exploits the poor. One set get rich at the expense of the poor. The poor them, well, they hang on a union, they take what they get and they live as they can. Are you as a Christian promoting that? You want to see capitalism go to America? A lot of other countries. The man with the iPhone, I mean, the billions, they're reeling billions, even with the oil thing in Ukraine. The oil companies reeling billions, and poor people can't afford to buy fuel. They don't have to carry the price up like that, That is its capitalism. Everything they push up, they are taking opportunity of the poor in distress. And I suppose he loved to see the poor. But let me tell you, Jesus say you don't. On that day, he going to judge you by what you do to the poor.
All right,
When I
then, caller.
say, when I sick, he didn't look after me. When the hungry didn't feed me. These are poor people that he going to judge you for. All right then, Brother Greg. So please don't unsave me today, because Jesus done the work. Thank you.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. This is Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. It's 11:53. We will break at 12 for the headline news. And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation for today. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. I am one always for listening to people and respecting their views and opinions. But that comment about open immigration policy and it's unrealistic, and I cannot see how it is biblical. I don't even know. Let's go back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Hello, caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir. Yeah, I'm pulling you back to previous discussion you had pertaining to the person who had escaped from the community center in St. Peter's.
Mm-hmm.
I think where the immigration has a serious problem is that I don't believe that these persons, those who have and those who have escaped, have any sort of identification. So we don't even know that daughter said they're from Cameroon. We can't even prove that they're really from there. And that will be part of the problem, getting them back to their country of birth or origin. It looks as though we might have to just get up and smuggle them into Haiti or something like that, because I understand Antigua does not want them back. So what do we do with them? Do we charter a plane and send them to the Cameroons? They might not have left the Cameroons. They would have left Nigeria. But then how do you send them into a country where they can't prove that they are who they are, or that they're actually natives of that country? So we are really in a serious, serious bind where we are here. But we have to get rid of them somehow or the other. So I believe we have to smuggle them into somewhere. We have to assist them by smuggling them into some other country. And maybe we should charter a boat, Sea Hustler or something, sail them down to Haiti and drop them ashore there.
My Dr. Sea Hustler name before. Oh boy.
But we have to get rid of them somehow, because I don't believe we should be welcoming persons who disregard our territory. Yes, they were rescued by a cruise ship and the customs, but having done them that favor to now find that they've become a liability for us, that we can't continue with that. And we can't put them on a regular airline because, as I said before, they have no identification.
Right.
No passport to say, well, if we send them on British Airways and then from British Airways they go down to Nigeria or the Cameroons or wherever they said that they're from. Because even getting in there, they can't prove that they can get into that country. Or they have no passport to say.
Must have identification.
By birth. So we are in a bind, but we have to solve that problem so or the other. Others could come in and do the same thing here, come in and dump their passports, and we can't do anything about them. So we have to prove to the world that persons who come in here, we help them out. So we have to help them out in another way by getting rid of them. Thank you.
All right, caller, and thank you for your contribution to the discussion for today. This is Inside the News for Saturday, April 29, 2023. I'm Devon Cornelius, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. The phone lines are open. We'll head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yeah, Devon.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, man. Well said, boy, Mrs. Henry and my good friend here. Well said. And I like the way you operate in your show. When anybody wants to talk, when you interject and they hear you talking, they have no right to cut in upon you before you complete your sentence or statement. And there's a talk show in Nevis, my good friend Weber. I like his style. Weber does say, walk with me. Walk with me. I am talking. I listen to you. And they're supposed to listen to you now when you're speaking. That's why we're able to say, walk with me. And they got to hush. Now, I like Miss Henry too, you know. Miss Henry tell Greg, be careful, you make me unsafe, or whatever the word was. Because Greg sound like a liberal. He always coming talking about everything about biblical. How in the world you can just have an open immigration? How? Greg, stop it. An open immigration means anybody could come. And if those who could provide something to the country to push it forward with the progress, if they decide not to come here. But the vagabonds them who intend to do wrong decide to come here, let's say 10,000. What gonna happen here, Greg? What gonna happen? You must come better than that. Talk sense. Everything you're coming about is unscriptural than Bible. When you went for the job where you was working, did you just walk in and sit down and work? You fill out your application for the job. And that is what the Bible says. Respect those in authority. The government is to control where you were working. And that's the reason why you have to fill out an application to go there. You didn't just walk in. How now you come talking about people must walk in immigration? Anyway, I don't expect too much better from you, Greg, because you say over the years that everybody should have a gun. That's one. And the government's supposed to privatize all the streets in St. Kitts. Privatize them, Greg. Come better than that. Do not discourage people from doing right. Which country in this world, the government, the full government are Christians and they're doing right? Up in Liberia a couple years ago, the leader of Liberia, the president of Liberia, Dr. William Talbot, was a Christian, and he get chased out of Liberia for corruption with the money. Greg, you know about that? He went up to his Idi Amin, rescue him. Wicked Idi Amin, and he was a Christian. So tell us which country in the world, the full government, are Christian. Thank you, Devon.
All right, and thank you, caller, for your contribution to this program. This is Inside the News on WINNFM 98.9. We'll take some more calls. Call us at 466-0989 or 662-0989. USA and Canada, call us at 718-285-6984 or 305-921-4619. And the UK, 033-344-0065. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good day.
Yes, Devon, it's me again. Yes, first of all, I would like to say, up to now, Miss Henry ain't touched the scriptures to show how I was wrong in my interpretation. And not only that, I'm also going to add 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6, we said, do not go beyond what is written. That is in the Bible. Do not go beyond what is written in the Bible. Read 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6. None of them touch the scriptures to show how I misinterpret them. Now, yes, culture, I'm still for government privatizing all the roads, and I'm still for government not disarming the people. And if everybody chooses to have a gun, I'm still for that.
Caller, I am not going to allow you to say those things on the air. I think they're reckless. All right?
Read that scripture?
They're reckless. So thank you so much for your contribution. Your comments are, I always respect people and their views, but your comments are absolutely reckless about everybody having a gun and open immigration policy. Respectfully, I disagree. This is Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Hello, caller. Good day. You're on the air.
Greetings. 29th of April. April soon done. We want to big up all April born, who celebrating birthday today. So, somebody in your station celebrating birthday today. Is you?
No. Not me.
You're not celebrating birthday today?
No.
Okay. You always striking, so we won't stay on the line long. We know you have to go for your news. Blessed Earth Day to who celebrating Earth Day today on Win FM. And remember, it's your mother's birthday, so extend the wishes to your mother. Blessed love. We call again after the news.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. This is Inside the News for Saturday, April 29, 2023. We'll break shortly for the headline news, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Just to give a bit of a recap for the first hour, in the British Virgin Islands, following the local elections there, a new government has been formed. The Virgin Islands Party, they had 6 seats following the elections, and they have now joined, or Lorna G. Smith of the NDP has joined the VIP to form the government. Because of that, the NDP are taking steps, actively taking steps to remove her from their party, as they see it as a breach of trust, or as you going against us, against the party, and all of that party allegiance and support and and so they're taking steps to remove Mrs. Smith from the NDP. And the Cameroonians detainees, they were at a government facility following a boat tragedy we had here in St. Kitts some weeks ago or months ago, I stand to be corrected. They have escaped. And so the police force, they're working assiduously to get them back in police custody. There is a big debate about what should happen, what we should do. But Antigua and Barbuda is refusing to be a part of the repatriation process. In other words, Antigua don't want them. That's what they're saying, don't they? So I think St. Kitts and Nevis has found itself in a very difficult position, because if it's a case where they do not have any identification, or you can't really identify who they are, I mean, how do you send them back to their country? We're saying that they're Cameroonians, but how do you send them back there if you don't know? If they don't have any identification, that is. So that is also a part of the conversation in terms of the repatriation process. And there are people also weighing in on suggesting that they should be, instead of at a government facility, at HMP, because they have now breached the law in terms of breaking out of a government facility. But it's a very interesting conversation, and one that we will continue to follow as it develops here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so those were two of the talking points. So the first hour of Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. The situation in the BVI with the Virgin Islands Party forming the new government there, with Lorna Smith and the Cameroonians escaping from, I don't know if I should say police custody, but escaping from a government facility here in St. Kitts, and they're working to get them. We'll explore these and other topics in the second hour of Inside the News for today. We'll take this break. And we'll be right back.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Cariboury.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
With the WINNFM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown. Our top stories. Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister says he has no intentions of accepting repatriation of 14 Cameroonian migrants on St. Kitts. Just under 1,000 grams of suspected cannabis seized at Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport. Guyana Bar Association flags National Intelligence Bill. St. Lucia's Prime Minister continues to defend his new security and health levy in the face of public criticism of the tax. Internationally, fighting has continued to rock Sudan despite the extension of a ceasefire between the warring generals by another 72 hours. Now the details. Why bring them back when they are likely to smuggle out of the country again, said Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister the Honorable Gaston Brown in an article on Point Express. The Prime Minister was referencing the 14 migrants and 2 Antiguans rescued after a boat capsized off the coast of St. Kitts en route for Antigua to St. Thomas, USVI, on March 28, 2023. In a release from the Ministry of National Security, the government of St. Kitts said it continues to pursue workable and diplomatic solutions as it is duty-bound so to do. Prime Minister Brown's administration has since reneged on the previous arrangement to have 14 migrants sent back to Antigua and Barbuda. In the Point Express article, Brown said he had no intention of accepting the 14 migrants who left the country, saying, quote, "How do you feel about us taking them back? We want to treat them humanely. Our challenge is that they have claimed that sending them back to Cameroon would likely result in their death. But I am thinking for those who have already left our shores, the question is, why bring them back when they are likely to smuggle out of the country again?" End quote.
The Antiguan Prime Minister has since asked the French ambassador for assistance from France to get the Cameroonians back to their native land. Recently, 9 of the 16 detainees escaped the detention facility, with all but one, Nicolas Santana Arichi, being found. Arichi is a citizen of Antigua and Barbuda, but a Dominican Republic native who is still missing. More on this developing story as information becomes available. On April 26, 2023, during a routine cargo scan, several packages concealed inside a punching bag were detected after entering the Federation through the Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport on April 25th via Amerijet from Miami, Florida. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force and St. Kitts and Nevis Customs and Excise Department halted the smuggling attempt at the airport after port officials concluded that the packages were suspicious. Law enforcement was then alerted. The police indicated that after examining the punching bag, 4 vacuum-sealed packages with vegetable material suspected to be cannabis were found. The 4 vacuum-sealed packages weighed 215 grams, 230 grams, 238 grams, and 227 grams, totaling some 910 grams of suspected cannabis. The police indicated that no arrests were made at the time of reporting. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. In regional news, Guyana Bar Association flags National Intelligence Bill. Guyana News Source has that story.
The president of the Bar Association of Guyana, Attorney Pauline Chase, signaled the association's non-support for the National Intelligence and Security Agency Bill 2023, warning that it has serious implications for the legal profession, particularly attorney-client confidentiality.
We cannot, as a bar, look to the future without addressing the elephant in the room as we've gathered here today as a bar. And that is the attempts to erode legal professional privilege. This is not a problem which we face in Guyana alone in isolation, and it has affected bars all across the world. First, brought about through the introduction of anti-terrorism and anti-money laundering legislation post-2021 9/11 period. And now, etching an expanded space in Guyana through Section 41 of the National Intelligence and Security Agency Bill 2023. If permitted to pass in its current form, in the very room in which we gathered today, will exempt suit from breaches in confidentiality arising from legal professional privilege.
At the time, the Bar Association head was delivering remarks during the Law Week Symposium held at the Ortachang Convention Center. Speaking in the presence of the Attorney General, Senior Counsel Anand Nandlal, and other members of the judiciary and the Bar Association president said, legal professional privilege, which allows clients to freely share information for their fair representation, is the bedrock of the legal profession and, by extension, the administration of justice. According to Section 41 of the National Intelligence and Security Agency Bill, no civil or criminal action, suit, or other proceedings for breach of confidentiality could be brought against any person who, in good faith under the proposed legislation, provides or transmits information requested by the agency or submits a report to the agency. The Attorney General Anil Nandlal, in response, redirected the Bar Association president's attention to a recent ruling by the Privy Council, in which it said that Jamaica's anti-money laundering law compelling lawyers to report financial crimes by their clients does not contravene their constitutional rights.
There is a recent ruling from the Privy Council in a case filed by the Jamaican Bar Association on that very issue, vis-a-vis the apparent conflict which exists between the legal confidential duty of a lawyer to his or her client and the contradictory or apparently contradictory obligation that the legal profession owes under different recently enacted statutes, in particular the AML-CFT regime. So that ruling from the Privy Council ought to provide some guidance on that matter.
Meanwhile, in the presence of the acting Chancellor of the Judiciary and the acting Chief Justice, the Bar Association head also used a platform to call for the substantive appointments of the top judicial officers.
In whatever era, past, present, future, an efficient system of justice is imperative in a society. Together with administrative trimmings, there must be a sufficient quorum of judges as dictated by sound statistical and empirical analysis to dispense justice in a timely manner.
St. Lucia's Prime Minister continues to defend his new security and health levy in the face of public criticism of the tax. DBS St. Lucia reports.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, in response to public criticism about the 2.5% health and security levy outlined in his budget address, further explained to reporters outside of Parliament on Thursday why the levy should not be misconstrued for an increase in the value-added tax. The Prime Minister further emphasized that food and medicinal items have been exempt from this levy.
I was clear. There is a health and security levy of 2.5% on goods except food, medicines, medical equipment, and there's a removal of the 12.5% VAT on building materials, which I listed. We have to go back to Parliament to change the law, particularly the VAT law. So when we go into Parliament, before July the 3rd, there's going to be a full and a complete list of what I said in Parliament.
Prime Minister Pierre insists that most of the criticism about this levy is coming from the opposition United Workers' Party, as he asserted that the 2.5% levy will have a significant impact on the various challenges currently plaguing the sectors of health and national security.
The levy is a health and security levy which will be used for health and security issues. And remember, note, I did not say a black box. Let me tell you why, if I was the opposition, I would be annoyed. I would be annoyed if I spent 5 years in government, I didn't get one hotel built. If I spent 5 years in government, I found a country where I spent $300,000 on a building and it never got complete. If I was the opposition and I signed an airport, I gave a contract for a direct award contract, an airport that will cost a country $1 billion. I would be very annoyed. So I am happy that they're annoyed. They have to be annoyed. If I were there, I would be annoyed also.
Further pronouncements on the 2.5% health and security levy as well as the VAT-exempt construction materials will be made in the coming weeks. For the DBS News World, Jason Arius reporting.
We now bring you these international reports.
It's become increasingly clear that the ceasefire in Sudan is not holding. Air, tank and artillery strikes are continuing in parts of the Sudanese capital Khartoum, despite the latest 72-hour truce. There's also fighting in the western Darfur region. Hundreds have now been killed and tens of thousands have fled in a conflict that is destabilizing the entire region. One of the generals who leads the Rapid Support Forces, the paramilitary force fighting Sudan's army, has told the BBC that he will not negotiate until the fighting ends. Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, also known as Hemeti, was speaking to Zainab Badawi.
I want to put it to you that the people of Sudan, particularly in the capital Khartoum, are living in an absolute ordeal. What would it take for you to allow humanitarian corridors?
First of all, I'd like to thank the BBC for the interview regarding the truce. We have been asking for it from the first day of the war. We started the humanitarian corridor straight away. We opened these corridors within the areas controlled by our forces. We started the truce from our side. We are working for the sake of the civilians, and our fight is on the behalf of the civilians. We have no problems with these corridors, and we are helping the diplomatic missions. The Sudanese people acknowledge the areas under our control. We are working hands and feet to help others. We have no problem with these corridors whatsoever.
Let's hear now from our diplomatic correspondent Paul Adams, who's following developments.
There had been the suggestion from the South Sudanese government of an invitation to the two men leading these rival factions to travel to Juba and meet face to face. That hasn't materialized. I mean, clearly there's been an enormous concerted international effort led by the Americans, the Saudi Arabians, the Gulf and other regional players to try and make sure that these ceasefires are put in place. But it's hard to resist the feeling that this is largely to allow the evacuation of foreign nationals Whether that diplomatic impetus and pressure will continue once foreign governments feel that they've got their citizens out, well, we'll have to wait and see. But if it doesn't, then we're in for a very rough time indeed, because it does feel as though left to their own devices, the two men are not going to settle their differences. It is only going to be a result of international pressure that the fighting can be contained, and that differences that separate them can be addressed.
Paul Adams there. Well, a convoy of buses carrying 300 American civilians has left the Sudanese capital bound for the coastal city of Port Sudan, which is 800 kilometres to the east. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia is coordinating its evacuations out of Port Sudan from Jeddah. Our chief international correspondent, Lise Doucette, has been on one of the Saudi vessels.
The bridge, the main control room in this Saudi warship. We're getting ready to leave Jeddah port for what's about to be a 12-hour crossing across the Red Sea. We're told it will could be about 12 hours before we reach Port Sudan, the main port in Sudan, which has become one of the main evacuation ports. Now, in recent days, we're told about 3,000 people have already reached the Saudi shore from some 77 nationalities. So this boat that we're now on is heading to Sudan to bring even more people, hundreds more people, we understand, back to safety here. Saudi Arabia is one of many regional powers deeply concerned about the fighting. They've long been engaged in Sudan with their own interest. But right now, for countries of the region and far beyond, the main interest is trying to stop this fighting between the two rival military powers, but also to protect the civilians. And this is what this warship is about to do today.
Used to sit there in Jeddah. Well, time is running out for British people to catch flights out of Sudan. Our political correspondent David Wallace-Lockhart told me more.
Flight out of Sudan for UK citizens will be leaving at 6 p.m. UK time this evening. And the reason the UK government has made that decision is, they say, down to the numbers that are now actually coming forward to get these flights. A Whitehall source earlier this morning described the numbers to me as now being just a trickle who want to get on these flights out of Sudan. The Deputy Prime Minister, Oliver Dowden, will be chairing a COBRA meeting, that's the UK Government's emergency committee, later on this afternoon to talk about the latest with those evacuations and to talk about the current security situation. Now, with such small numbers apparently coming forward to get on these flights, the opposition Labour Party has said the criteria to get on them should be expanded, and it should be open to anyone resident in the UK and not just passport holders. Now, the government is stressing that they've had a longer window for getting on to evacuation flights than any other Western nation. They're happy with how this operation has gone. About 1,500 people, slightly over that, have been taken out of Sudan on these flights. 2,000 people registered interest in the Foreign Office's evacuation programme. But the UK government hoping that that 24-hour window of notice they announced yesterday that will end at 6 p.m. tonight will be enough for anyone who does want to make that journey to get on one of those flights. They are stressing, though, that there will also be consular support at certain points in the border in Sudan and at Port Sudan going forward.
There's been a bit of a U-turn from the government as well on the issue of NHS doctors, because originally they weren't allowing NHS doctors to get on some of those flights if they didn't have British passports, but then they've changed their minds on that.
That's right. That's something that I think quite a lot of people in the UK found quite a difficult thing to believe, that there were doctors who work in the NHS day to day who might have gone to Sudan for a holiday or to see family who were not able to get on those flights because although they had work permits to work in the NHS, they weren't British passport holders. The UK government has changed tact on that. They did say that border officials would always have some discretion in areas like this, but those NHS doctors are now being allowed on those flights. And I suppose the bigger question now is, if there are still flights to leave Sudan and come to the UK and the demand from UK passport holders to be on them isn't that great, then will the criteria be extended to others who aren't NHS doctors but perhaps are resident in the UK, have work permits, have jobs in the UK? Will they start getting on these flights in greater numbers?
America should always pay her bills.
Period. Full stop.
House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries on Friday called a Republican bill that would slash federal spending in exchange for raising the debt limit a ransom note, insisting GOP lawmakers raise the nation's borrowing limit without conditions.
We will have a conversation with House Republicans about the budget. President Biden has produced a budget. House Republicans produced a ransom note.
That ransom note is a reference to the bill House Republicans narrowly passed this week to raise the government's $31.4 trillion debt ceiling, while at the same time imposing sweeping spending cuts over the next decade. The bill isn't expected to pass the Democratically controlled Senate, and President Joe Biden said he would veto it if it did. But the measure, pushed by Republican House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, is meant to pressure Biden into negotiations on cutting spending, even as the White House and congressional Democrats insist on a debt limit increase without forcing concessions.
That's not negotiable.
Here's McCarthy on Wednesday calling on Biden to negotiate.
We passed this early. We are in April, way ahead of the debt limit. We are the only party to take fiscal action in a sound mind that would lift the debt limit so we wouldn't have economic damage. We've also put us back on a path to end the Washington wasteful spending and to grow our economy and make us stronger.
And at least one Democrat is open to talks. Representative Josh Gottheimer, a moderate in his party, said on Friday that while he rejected the GOP's spending cuts, it is time for Biden to begin daily dialogue with Republicans to avoid a calamitous default. But the White House is standing firm. It says it will not negotiate on raising the debt ceiling, a move necessary to cover the cost of spending and tax cuts previously approved by Congress. The U.S. Treasury Department could run out of ways to pay its bills in a matter of weeks, and a default would cripple the U.S. economy with global reverberations.
After a year-long war of words between Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Walt Disney, the fight is now going to court. The entertainment giant earlier this week sued the Republican leader to prevent the state from ending the company's virtual autonomy in Central Florida, where it has its theme parks. Disney has accused the governor of retaliation after the business spoke out against DeSantis' efforts to strike discussions of sex and gender from schools. The lawsuit has now led some to believe that DeSantis may regret his verbal attacks on the media company.
Disney does have a strong case.
Leslie Kendrick is the director of the Center for the First Amendment at the University of Virginia School of Law.
Disney has essentially a special relationship with the government of Florida. It has a deal that not everyone has, although there are many other entities that have enjoyed special tax districts that are similar to what Disney has enjoyed. But the government can't condition your keeping that benefit on your political views.
The 73-page lawsuit comes a year after the company criticized a Florida law banning classroom discussion of sexuality and gender identity with younger children, prompting DeSantis to repeatedly attack woke Disney. Disney said DeSantis' actions amounted to a targeted campaign of government retaliation.
The reason we have the 5 freedoms of the First Amendment is primarily to keep a check on people in power.
Ken Polson is a First Amendment expert at Middle Tennessee State University.
If our government abuses its power, we have the free speech right to call them out. We have the free press right to investigate and report on them. We have the right to assemble and raise our voices in protest, and we have the right to petition government for redress of grievances. 4 of the 5 freedoms in the First Amendment are designed to keep government honest and to keep those in charge from using their power to violate our collective rights under the Bill of Rights.
I don't think the suit has merit. I think it's political.
DeSantis has called Disney's lawsuit a politically motivated attack and accused the company of lacking accountability. The governor's spokesperson said on Wednesday that his office was unaware of any legal right that allows a company to operate its own government or maintain special privileges, a reference to the decades-old district that is home to Disney World. For Disney to prevail, a jury would have to find a connection between the company's comments and the changes to the development district, renamed under DeSantis' control as the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District.
You were listening to the Midday News on WINNFM 98.9. The headlines? Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister says he has no intentions of accepting repatriation of 14 Cameroonian migrants on St. Kitts. Just under 1,000 grams of suspected cannabis seized at Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport. Guyana Bar Association flags National Intelligence Bill. St. Lucia's Prime Minister continues to defend his new security and health levy in the face of public criticism of the tax. Internationally, fighting has continued to rock Sudan despite the extension of a ceasefire between the warring generals by another 72 hours. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness. It's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king. Please drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
People make the world go
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
People make the world go
Welcome back. This is Inside the News on WINNFM 98.9 for April 29, 2023. I'm Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. The phone lines will be open shortly. You can call us at 466-0989 or 662-0989. The overseas numbers are 718-285-6984. That's 718-285-6984 or 305-921-4619. The UK, you can call us at 033-344-0065. This is Inside the News for Saturday, April 29, 2023. I'm Devon Cornelius. It's 12:42 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. And thank you guys so much for joining the conversation. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take some calls for this afternoon. Hello, caller. You are on the air.
Well, good afternoon again, Devon.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon to all the listeners at home and abroad. And advanced birthday greeting to my nephew, Kurt. Kurt Williams' birthday will be on the 2nd. And my first daughter, Carol, hers will be on the 6th. Now, Antigua don't like peace, you know. Every time Antigua and St. Kitts get together to play, it's like a war. And we have OECS agreements. We have one economy and all of that. But it seems as though Prime Minister Gaston Brown doesn't appreciate our our relationship. I am married to an Antiguan, so let me make it clear. I have nothing against Antiguans. And my children are Antiguan by their rights, if they want it. Mother was born in Antigua. His mother was born in Antigua, a Kittian mother. But there's always been distrust between Antiguan and Kittitians, and you're only making the matter worse. How you mean you're not going to accept them? All Dr. Drew has to do, charter a plane since you don't want them coming, and just tell them they can't come back. He is the one who facilitated it, you know. Because I asked myself the question, how could 32 people get on a boat like that? Nobody guard their borders. And when the second flight came in on Air Antigua, and they were not able to find the first set, why did he allow more to come in? And then to say, well, they say they're going to Mexico. So what is he doing? What was he doing? He facilitated what's going on. And I hope Dr. Jude intend to fight it, put them on a charter plane since he don't want them to go on late, and send them up. They could either shoot them on the airport or do what they want to do with them. But his arrogance is offensive. And he should know. The same thing, you know, the Bauer, when one of the banks was going to fail, the former governor, Venner, encouraged National Bank to bail out the bank, you know. And then what he do when we come in and we ask for money, when Dr. House asked for the money, it was most insulting. He ain't borrow none, he could only give us back 50%. His arrogance is offensive. The same thing with the late workers. Well, you take it or leave it. No, this is a man who owe you, you know. They're not begging. And all he's doing is making the relationship between St. Kitts and Antigua worse. What do you mean they're on one way? Well, if you bring them in Antigua to the runway, let the runway go so. He now said that the people said they were going down to Mexico. There is no connection flight between Antigua and Mexico. So what are we to do with them? Well, I don't know about Dr. Drew, but maybe you could give Sister Sylvie in the job. You hear me? Put them on a charter flight. One way. When they come off the plane, you send your guys with them, make everybody come off, and you bring back the plane. Let him do what you want with them, because this matter, more going to come. It's 600 and something people. You're allowed to come in more than one flight. How do you feel about it, Devon?
How do I feel about
his speech?
Gaston's speech?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, I say that much. I say it's
unbelievable,
I say that much.
I mean, you daughter. Why bring them back when they go one way again? Let everyone will go somewhere, not leave beside there, you know. Let me tell you, One will go Barbuda. Send them on Barbuda then, since you want, you could have make an African colony over there. You see what he's doing? Somebody up there, the fellow who was calling, who will come on your show, the senator. I wonder what is he saying about it now. You must ask him. Ask him, how does he feel about the statement by his prime minister, who got the gall to say, you're not going to take them back. I mean, not going to take them back. It's where they come from. Ask Trinidad. Grenada, they send back the Haitians, you know, where they came from. And somebody said they don't know. Yes, they know, because the police called the names of the people. They know. Everybody who came on a flight from Nigeria, they were on the bill, the passenger list, so they know who. And that don't look like no runway to me, you know, let me tell you. No. That escape does not look like no runway to me. 9 people walk out in 9, you know. So who was responsible for them? I mean, that needs an inquiry.
But that's
you
what
can't
I'm
convince
saying.
me that 9 people run away.
I don't understand that either.
It don't make no sense. Not one person, you know. They didn't say one today, one tomorrow. And they just walk out the door. Who can have a song, contend have a song, who can guard the guard? Who was guarding the guard? So I want to know if nothing is going to happen about that. It is suspicious. Well, let us turn me back. When I went to the bathroom, when I come back, they're gone. That's all like it. And why didn't the other 4 go? You accept the question, though?
I have.
So please, Mr. Gaston Brown, I have my Antigua rights, you know. Don't let me come up there. You are creating problems between petitions and divisions. Because if you offend our government and our country, offend all of us. And we want Antigua and St. Kitts to live in peace. Otherwise, the OECS union means nothing. Nothing. All right, then.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. It's 12:49 here in the studios of WINN-FM 98.9. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls. Call us at 466-0989 or 662-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this one. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good afternoon.
Yes, hello, Devon. It's me again. Now, first of all, I would like to say, yes, Jesus Christ died for his elect, his chosen sinners only, and for no one else. And only then we'll go to heaven. All the rest will go to hell. The Bible teaches that over and over again. I don't think you have time for me to go into that. Secondly, Devon, countries that go more and more in the direction of... as a matter of fact, before I say that, let me say this. The UN Human Development Index shows that the countries that have the most human development, generally speaking, are countries... But when you look at them, those are the countries that are most free economically. They have strong they have strong laws protecting private ownership. Those are countries that tend to have lower taxes. Those are countries that have gone more and more in the direction of free market capitalism, even though they are still yet far from being there, compared to the other countries who are low on the list. These countries that are on top are relatively speaking, closer to free market capitalism. Okay? China used to have very devastating extreme poverty. And the reason why they're able to eliminate a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it, is because they open up the economy. They're letting more and more people come in. They are now letting people to own businesses, to own private property and that sort of stuff, which would never used to happen under Chairman Mao, except maybe in the farming area. Other than that, it never really used to happen. The government own it all, run it all. It is even said it is easier now to open a business on the streets of Shanghai than in America. America is no bastion of capitalism. America is more fascist, you know. And there are countries that have been rated more economically free than America by the Heritage Foundation and other organizations that rate economic freeness and friendliness to business. So, contrary to what Ms. Henry said, countries that have been able to help the poor the most, as we see from evidence and statistics, are countries that have moved more and more in the direction of free market capitalism, and that is why they are on top the UN Human Development Index. They're talking about the countries like Scandinavian countries and that sort of stuff. Yes, I'm not saying that they're all there, for they're far from being all there. But compared to those lower countries, they are far more closer. And like I said, imagine if they go all the way, as the Bible instructs, because free market capitalism is what the Bible teaches and condemn all the other economic structures as being sinful. And yes, Devon. So what Miss Henry said doesn't drive, one, with the Bible, and two, is even contrary to the stats. Now, with all due respect, Devon, it's only when we do things the Bible is when things go correctly. Now, it is very interesting. A lot of people who are now saying send back these Cameroonians are people who was criticizing Trump when Trump was sending back people. You see the hypocrisy? No culture come and condemn me and saying, okay, well, what about vagabonds? Well, the same culture then, when Trump spoke about a certain percentage of the Mexicans and so coming over as vagabonds, condemn the same Trump for saying that? Now you see how the hypocrisy goes? The double standard? They're condemning Trump for doing the same things that they say we should do to the Cameroonians. People should be consistent and let us stop the hypocrisy. You know, it was okay for you all to be condemning Trump for these things, but now you all turning around and back in the tail because it is now in our court. We got to be honest. We got to be upright. We got to be consistent. If it is wrong for you, it is wrong for me. Well, based upon what the Bible teaches. And that is why the Bible always condemns hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is not correct. You can't say Trump wrong, but it's okay for us to do the same thing. And so, Devon, coming back together again, as you realize, I have not broken any of the show's rules. I have not broken any one of them. And no matter how we find reckless a view might be, once a person not breaking the rules of the show, people should be allowed to express
What
because
are
maybe what you think is reckless.
What are the rules of the show? What are the rules?
Do not defame anybody.
Okay. Well, who tell you that's the rules?
Well, I haven't defamed anybody.
Caller, your comments about, right, and I maintain that your comments about open immigration policy and everybody having a gun, they're reckless, all right?
But they're not liable.
And I will not allow those comments to be on the airwaves. I am the host of the show, and I have the right to allow that. All right?
Yep, you're right.
Do you have any other point? Do you have any other point or comment that you would want to make?
Well. Another point that I should make is that then it is then it ain't just making libelous statement that could get you banned from off your show. Then it's views that rub you wrong could also get you banned from off your show once the person views rub you very wrongly because whose standard are you using that these?
I wasn't in the mood to go back and forth with anybody today. It is 12:56. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls. Call us at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. Let's take this caller. Hello, caller. You are on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Brother Devon. You had a good lunch, right?
Oh, no, not as yet.
Well, you got energy, boy. You got energy like a teacher. No. Gregory, you say you're focusing on everything cannot go right unless they are Christian, or whatever it is. But you, remember this, you are the biggest example of that, where you say, and you're talking about people, we are hypocrite. Gregory, wrong is wrong. Look at you now. Want to dictate for them, want to tell him how we must run his show. Look at you. Gregory, you must not do that. All you're doing when you call in, you got your contradiction for everything, and they're saying because they're not following the Bible. But the Bible says, "Do not equally yoke." Do not unequally yoke. Where is your example, Greg? When you're condemning people, Miss Henry said what she said, and she's right. The Cameroonian, them are human too. They are human beings. They must not be dumped. dumped to in the sea like that to drown. And I agree with Miss Henry, because here what the leader said, he has no intention of taking them back. They did not leave from Cameroon and come to St. Kitts, nor Nevis. They leave from Cameroon and they went Antigua. And by doing that, by showing his inhumane behavior, it is causing a lot of falling out between Antigua and St. Kitts, and we don't want that. We want all of us to be one. Take back the people them, and then send them back to where they came from, to Tulane and Antigua. You can't leave them like that. Don't do it. It is wrong. And now let me go back to this election thing. You know that Haiti has the most overthrow of government in the world. And after Papa Doc, that is when they start to overthrow government, and ministers, because a lot of them politicians in Haiti, they give them the impression that they're going to do better than Papa Doc. And when they get in there and they start to do the corruption, that's when the Haitian decide, well, we ain't taking no longer, no knockback from you anymore. We're going to do what we got to do. And that's why they overthrow them. But they ain't overthrow them because they just don't want a ruler. They're not living up to their promise, what they promised the people them before they elected in there. But in some countries, some people are very patient and some are impatient. So, Devon, you run your show. You hear me? Don't let nobody come in and tell you how to do it. Thank you very much, Devon. Let me move, let somebody else get in.
All right, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution to this program. We'll take a break to give a shout out to our sponsors. And when we come back, we'll continue the program right here on 98.9. So let's take this break, and we will be right back. Stick and stay.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company, TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company. Together we succeed, building a strong community, pressing onward to our destiny. One love, one family. Together we succeed. Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50. People make the world go round.
Found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
People make the world go
Welcome back to the program. This is Inside the News. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. Hello, caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Yeah, greetings, Brother Devon, Rascolonji. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. What about you?
I'm good. You know, I'm here listening to all the different views and the different topics. Imagine as African people, we can come up with a policy to deal with our situation, right? All what we have been through, people are Antiguans, Nigerians, Jamaicans, Anguillians, Kitishans, but we are not Africans. That's the problem. We need a Pan-African policy, especially when you're dealing with the Haitian situation. Now, remember in Haiti, President Aristide was democratically elected, so-called democratically elected. He was removed by the United States. He was installed again back into power. Right? The second time around, they kidnapped him. France and the United States kidnapped President Aristide, took him to Antigua, refueled him, and took him to Africa. The United States insisted that he should not come back in this part of the world, in this hemisphere. Prime Minister of Jamaica, P.J. Patterson, wanted to bring him back to Jamaica. The United States insisted that he will not return back in this hemisphere. I mean, this is the reality. So what I'm saying to our people, basically, you know, is that we need a Pan-African policy on what is happening in the world today. You know, especially with what is happening with the Cameroons, right? The people from Cameroon who are here. They had to leave the country because of the colonial situation, the colonialism creating wars over there. The former colonial governments, whether it's France or England, them is the one is the cause for the situation in Cameroon, even though what's happening in Sudan. You understand? So what I'm saying to our people, we need a Pan-African policy. And that is the only solution to all the problems that is affecting our people. We are one people coming out of the same disrespect from colonialism and imperialism. So how come now, even though the Cameroons, some of them came out of detention, what I made to understand that I heard a brother calling to another program and said that people have been taunting them, right? So I don't really know. So, but what I'm trying to show you is that we need to come up with a policy to integrate these people when they come to our country. We are not different people. What happened to them could happen to us. What happened to Haiti could also happen to us. If we had a revolution here and liberate ourselves back in enslavement days, Singets and Neves will have made an example of so that other countries don't do what we did. It's the same thing what is happening to Haiti. And what is happening to Haiti right now is another revolution taking place where the gangs them who are criminal now become conscious of the situation, and there are some ones who are positive and there are ones who are working on behalf of the colonials and the United States government. So it's a process that is taking place for the second liberation of Haiti. So we got to understand what's going on, because a lot of the propaganda that is coming on the news, right, is fashioned in order to make you think it's just gangs only killing one another. It's not that way, you know. So all I'm saying to our people, Pan-Africanism is the only solution to all the pollution. That's what Granny said. What Granny said? They stole us. What Granny said? They sold us. What Granny said, there was trillions upon trillions upon trillions. Excuse me, for reparation. So, our economy is stagnant right now, and we should be pushing full steam to get our reparation for people so we could reinvigorate our economies so that we could compete here in this 21st century. Give thanks. One love, my brother.
All right, Colin, thank you for your contribution to this program. This is Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Just looking at a article that we have here. It says that Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister says he has no intentions of accepting reparation of 14 Cameroonian migrants on St. Kitts. The article says, it's a quote from him, which says, "Why bring them back when they are likely to smuggle out of the country again?" Said Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister Gaston Brown in an article on Point Express. And he was referencing the 40 migrants and the 20 Antiguans rescued after a boat capsized off the coast of St. Kitts en route from Antigua to St. Thomas USVI on March 28, 2023. And in a release from the Ministry of National Security here in St. Kitts and Nevis, it says that the government continues to pursue workable and diplomatic solutions as it is duty-bound to do so. Prime Minister Brown's administration has since reneged on the previous arrangement to have 14 migrants sent back to Antigua and Barbuda. In the Point Express article, Brown said he had no intention of accepting the 14 migrants who left the country, saying, quote, "How do you feel about us taking them back? We want to treat them humanely. Our challenge is that they have claimed that sending them back to Cameroon would likely result in their death. But I'm thinking for those who have already left our shores, the question is why bring them back when they are likely to smuggle out of the country?" Again, the Antiguan Prime Minister has since asked the French ambassador for assistance from France to get the Cameroonians back to their native land. Recently, 9 of the 16 detainees escaped the detention facility, with all but one, Nicolas Santana Arichi, back in police custody. Arichi is a citizen of Antigua and a Dominican Republic native who is still missing. More on this as information becomes available. Let's head back to the phone lines. Hello, caller. You are on the air. Good afternoon.
Mr. Cornelius, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. Good
I hear Gregory saying that people were talking about Trump and he was sending back the people. But America is a big place and has so much to offer. And if Donald Trump could send them back, think it could send them back. How much more the country could take? You ain't against nobody, but what are you going to do with them? Gregory need to sign up to some of them and take at least 2-3 of them, keep them in the house for 4 or 5 months, feed them, water them, close them, and see if they ain't going to bring a strain on him. You know? There ain't nobody against nobody, but how much more think it could take? And I believe that some of these Caribbean islands, this is me, trying people to bring them people to St. Kitts because 2 times now boat end up in St. Kitts waters and they say they're coming from Dominica. And if they're doing these things, they need to stop. St. Kitts go just like any other country. The country is a small country. Look how much of them it don't got. So you're going to put them. These things don't fall back on the government. If they come and they have family and they go to the hospital, government has to take care of them. If they're dead, government, I mean, come on, man. People must let the conscience be there. If it's African people, I take them in and feed them and see how if a strain won't come back and know you. Think it's too small. The people them up there done already balling. They can't get this and you're going to take him more to put them where? Think it's people all over the world, yes. But the whole Caribbean can't come to think it. Where you going to put these people? They're going to come homeless. They're going to have to start to build shack and thing all up on hillside. Country too small. And if people don't be think, saying it's come a long way and it come is the bread basket now for the Caribbean. But people have to watch what they're saying. Who talking that they're taking 3 and 4 them and see the strain they're going to feel. Every country now securing the borders because people just moving all over the place. You can't have people in a country and you ain't sure what you're going to do with them. They have to find work, they have to find food, you got to shelter them. And Mr. Cornelius is ridiculous. America got so much to offer and Donald Trump to send them out. Think it could send them back when they come. Illegal. And that is me, okay? I just speaking for me and if it's Caribbean island sending them to think it, they need to stop. Because think it now is the end of the Caribbean. That's all I got to say. Bye.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution. Let's take some more calls. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Yes, Devon, me again. For the record's sake, I was condemning Trump big time for his deportation of people and for ascribing vagabondness and so to most of the Mexican people who were coming over. I was condemning Trump big time. I tried to always be consistent because it was against the Bible what Trump is doing and it's against the Bible what we are doing. Now, what I'm saying is about maybe 85% of St. Kitts is uninhabited. Okay? Just look at the map. They have where it's habited and uninhabited, and you see about 85% also of St. Kitts is uninhabited. But more importantly, when you have the biblical free market capitalist economy, the more people come into your country, is the better it is, including the more poor people come into your country. Because a biblical free market capitalist economy, the more people come into your country, including the more poor people come into your country, is the more opportunities are created, is the more businesses expand, is the more job opportunities created. As a matter of fact, free market capitalism in the biblical context create more jobs than more poor people, than people. So therefore, in such an economy, you don't have a problem with jobs. And people have more money in the pocket to give to charity. Charity able to do a lot more because your dollar is able to purchase a lot more because your taxes at maximum is very, very low. But like I said, the biblical way to go is really for it to be voluntary, 100%. And because of that, people would have far more money, and the purchasing power of dollar would be a whole lot more. So that is why, all these are why God tells us, when you do things the Bible way, what you're going to receive in your country as a people are blessings after blessings. But the reasons we are in all of these problems is because we are not doing things according to the Bible. Man's law is the problem. The Bible is the solution. But instead we turn to the Bible, to look to the Bible for our solutions. We are looking for more and more of man laws, which is part of the problem. And Albert Einstein correctly said, to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a result, is really the definition of insanity. And that's what we are doing, the same thing over and over again, in going contrary to the Bible and expecting somehow a different result. No, the Bible promises you once you go contrary to it, you're going to always, in the end, be reaping the same result, which is destruction, ruin, pain, suffering, misery, torment, and all of such. And the only way to get the blessings of Jesus upon us as a people, as a country, the material blessings especially, is to do things the Bible way. And we need to do things the Bible, because God's way is if He gave us an economy, which is free market capitalism, and it is that economy that allows the thriving of life, allows the replenishing of life. And the more people in your economy, in that economy that is biblical, is the better it is, because the more it grows. And the more solutions we get to problems, the more we are better able to deal with problems, because people are freer in such economies to thrive. And like I said, you check the Human Development Index, the countries that are on top with human development are countries that are closest, comparatively and relatively speaking, to free market capitalism, as the Bible teaches. And those that are at the lowest are the furthest away in socialism, fascism, communism, planned market, regulated market, and all of those sort of anti-scriptural way of doing things. So let's just turn to the Bible. That's the only solution. But we are rejecting it to our peril and to our hurt and to our destruction. Let us repent and turn to the Bible as a people. Okay.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. This is Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Hello, caller. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, Devon. I'm going to be quick. Now, let me start with my good friend Kelanji. The Cameroons, they came from Nigeria. They did not leave Cameroon, you know. They came from Nigeria to Antigua. As you said, as he said, if our economy is below par, because since COVID we have high unemployment, are you asking us to go and put the people to agony? If we can't find enough work for our own people, we're going to bring in other people? This is where logic beat a lot of us, you know. So we want other people. This is what happened in South Africa. Some people there went there as refugees, you know. And the black South Africans turn on them. Because they say, look, if life is bad for us, and you are coming in, you're making it worse. Nobody have anything against the Africans. We are all of African descent. We are all of African descent. I mean, the black people, and the mix-up ones. So nobody's saying, oh, well, because we African and the African, you got to have common sense. So you're going to make everybody poor to prove something? It's the same thing with Greg analysis. Greg wants to intensify the agony of the poor. Now let's take the Santo Domingans who came here. When the poor come in large numbers like that, they end up being exploited. That's what I'm saying, you know. People paying them less than the official rate. So that is good. They got to work longer hours to get the same thing. Is that what you want to do to people? While those who making the profits, what do they spend on them? I tell Greg, he need to go read that. I don't know which version of the Bible he's reading. The Libertarian Bible, what he talking about? Which Bible? Who interpret that for you? Tell me where in the Bible you see any free enterprise. They had more communal living, you know? There are tribes. There were tribes and clans. Even in Africa, there was nothing like what you're talking about. I don't support socialism, nor communism, nor fascism. I don't. And planned economy. But what you're talking about is the exploitation of the poor. So bringing more poor people. You see, like in America, they had all the Mexicans then working in this field, picking the beans and the lettuce and the something. Talk about hardship. So what you're trying to do, exploit the poor to enrich your capitalists them? So please, Greg, please. And Kalanje, I challenge you all already again, you know. Since you all love the African more than you love the Kititians, why not adopt them? Why not? As with the Haitians, we make long historical speeches, but we're doing nothing. Tell me what exactly the Pan-African one something, what are you doing for them? And this thing about, they were taunting them, how do you know? Were you all in close contact with them? Why didn't you all intercede on their behalf? We like to spout theories, you know, we're one African. They have been all kind of trouble in Sudan, you're holding your peace. And every time something happened in Africa, they blame other people. I'm asking the question again, are there any intelligent black people around on the globe? So every move is somebody do it. And they did. Of course, they enslave us. How many years from that till now? We haven't learned anything. But I hope Dr. Drew and he said learn something, you know. Hope you all learn something. Because this blaming of other people for the things we do in Sudan, what they're fighting for the gold. Who have the gold? You're going to tell me you're fighting to rule the country and you don't care who you kill? But they're not black people you're killing. Everywhere you turn, Ethiopia and Eritrea, country after country, the Muslims, and they're running from it, the Muslim and the Arab. What are they doing in Africa? They're black too. As much as the Muslim, they're black. Kidnapping, killing, I mean, really? Are they going to be part of this all Africa? You can come back and answer. You must learn to be practical. If you can help our African brethren, help them, we have the Haitians here still. I tell you, I'll go and offer the government help in maintaining them. Just talking about, oh, we can have one black country and so. And Africans live here. What do you all do for the Nigerian students? Don't be glad for the comradeship. We just watch them. Oh, they're over there. They're Africans like you. What is your organization doing for them? Trying to help them to integrate. What are you doing? We love the long, sympathetic speech. And oh, the white man and the black man and the color man. Well, timing up, you hear me? We have enough intelligent black people. I call me and Devon. Devon, you're an intelligent one, right?
Yes.
But I say yes. And any white man got to drive you to tell you what to think?
Mm-hmm.
Every action they don't in Haiti creating havoc. They can't look and see their own people. They got risk in their life. Oh, America, yes, America did. America continues to do. But what about the people in Haiti? A lot of them have university education, you know. We got this picture paint, all Haitian poor. That's not true. All no. They got the upper class, the middle class, and the bottom. So please, match words with action. The Haitians are here. What have you done for them? What do you intend to do for them? The Africans are here. What do you intend to do for them? That medical school has been here for many years. What have you done for them? All right, then.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. This is Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. Let me just use this opportunity to say thank you for your contribution to the discussion for today on the topic of the Cameroonians, and as well as the situation there in the BVI with the Virgin Islands Party and Lorna G. Smith of the NDP, who has crossed the floor. I am seeing that portfolios have been decided on. I just had the information right here, but she has been sworn in as a deputy premier. I'm understanding that she will be sworn in as deputy premier and Minister of Financial Services, Labor and Trade, Territorial at Large Representative. So she'll be responsible for Financial Services, Labor and Trade, and it also says Territorial at Large Representative. Until next time, you guys stay safe. This has been another edition of Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. Y'all take care.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9.